class. Today we will learn about, that is section number 3 of your software engineering subject. Be able to apply a software engineering approach to software and system development. And how will you apply the software engineering approach, the techniques, the methods in any project or in software or system development? First of all, we will see about the example of software development, which was our last lecture. But I will explain it to you now. So this is the coding of HTML. That is that first you will code, write the coding. There is a proper coding form, the syntax, the way of writing, and at the end you will see the result. Okay, that is a basic simple coding. Every programmer starts learning or teaching from this code, HTML code, which is written in a notepad file, the normal notepad file that you have in your computer. Now I will start this. Okay, now when you will open this HTML file, first of all, you will start writing the code. That is HTML, and this hashtag, this forward slash means the ending part, and the first one is the starting part. That HTML in the braces is the starting part, and where our code will end with a forward slash. When we will write something with a forward slash, it means the code is ending here. The page is ending here. Confirm? So next, we will write something. We will write a head. What is the head? The title, we can say, or the head part of any document. The starting part of any document. That what should be written in that starting part of the document. Then we will first place the head part, and then forward slash head, and then we will place the body part and backslash body part. Now what anything we will write in the head part will show at the top of the document, and whatever we will write in the body part between these both syntax, that will show in the body part of that web page. Now what will we do next? In the head part, what we're gonna write? The title of that page, that is the head thing. And what we will write in the title page, we will write hello world. Now you can see, then first we have write that on just title word in the braces, and then with the forward slash. Now we will save this file. Okay, in any folder you can save, and we will just convert them, that file type as in all files, so that we can access this as a notepad also, and we can access to a web page also. Okay, now we will open that notepad file where we have saved this file. We have saved an HTML file, webpage.html. Now when it will open, you can see there is a web page. This is the small web page where the title is written hello world with window Internet Explorer. Have you understood this or not? Ask, have you
Yes,
understood
ma'am.
this? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will start to write anything in the body part. We will write heading 1. Now H1 means heading 1. Now these are the properly defined syntax, that when we will learn the HTML coding, we would be known that how we will put a heading in that, how we will put a paragraph in that. So these all things have a special syntax. Okay, now our first heading will also be hello world. We are writing. Now you can see there is written hello world. The title will be the on the above on the of the web page, and in the body you can see the hello world. Okay, next there is a paragraph. Now P is for paragraph. This is my first web page. We have written this. So it comes in the paragraph lining and in the paragraph font size, that we don't have to set any font unless until we want some specific font. Otherwise it will specify the font size and all the format size according to the syntax that we are entering. First we have entered the heading, so the hello world is in bold and in a big font. Then we have written the paragraph. Paragraph is written in a normal font size with no bold. So it is written in a normal with no bold, no italic, no underline, anything. Then we have to write the next paragraph. That next paragraph, it also means that in the next line. Obviously, the paragraph couldn't be in the same line. See, now there is another line which is written in another paragraph. So I hope you can understand it now that how this coding works. That is the coding that where we have to write first and then we can see that how it displays. That is the HTML coding. First we will code in the back end, then we can see the front end. Now I will show you about, first we will see the front end, then we will do the coding at the back end. Now that is done in Visual Basic. Visual Studio is the tool in which we do this coding, and that language is called Visual Basic. Now I will start this. Now when we will open this, we will have this type of a page with a new project. When we will enter a new project we want to open, we want to start a new project, then this little form. Now what is this form? This is the form in which we will place our buttons or text boxes or all the graphic or the image that we want our web page to look, and how it will look. Okay, now then we can resize it also according to our requirements. There is the names of the project, my first VB project, my project, and form 1. Now that is the form 1. You can make a multiple pages like a form 1, form 2, and you can link that pages also. Now next what will we do? We will, now there in the end there is a toolbox. We will open the toolbox and there are plenty of buttons and other things which we can place in our form. There is a link label, there is data grid view, data set, there are buttons, there are text boxes where we can enter anything. Okay, then there is a view. Now what is a view? The solution explorer, from where we can view our form, that how it looks like. Now what will we do first? We will now place a button from our toolbox. Wait. And we can shift our toolbox to anywhere. Now this is the arrow that you can place your toolbox in this white form where there is an arrow. So that is easy for us to find anything or place our form. Now there is a button option. We will just drag and drop the button. We can resize the button and we can rename the button in the side box where there is written the properties, the text that is written the show message, and the name of the button is show message. Now we will double click that button. Right, it's working. You see, first we have made the button and then we will double click the button, and the coding of that specific button, that what that button should do, is in the back end. Now that is the back end. Button was the front end, the interface, and that is the back end where we will write the function of that button. Now that is a built-in function. We don't have to write all these public class and private sub button. That is all built in. Now what will we do? We will write a message box, and what will be written in that message box? We will also show a message box. Then it means that when we will click that button, now that is the private sub button click. When we will click that button, a message box should be shown, and what should be written in that message box? This is my first VB code. So we will save it. We will then return to our form. We will play it from the play button. Now see, there is the button that you have put in and you have coded. Okay. That is the play button. Play, and what will happen if when we will click on show message, click. Now this is the message box that is shown. What is this message box? There's written this is my first VB project. Wait, I'll spec. This is my first VB code. Okay, now understand this front end and back end.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So that is called coding. I think now you have understood about a bit of coding. That what does coding mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we will start with the rest of the lecture. Now, what was our next thing? That was software development approach. What are the software development approaches? What does that mean? That what are the methods or the things, techniques from which we can do the system development or any software development? Okay, the software development approaches below show how the various tasks related to the software development can be organized. Typical approaches software development include waterfall, incremental, and spiral. There are three main types of software development approaches. These are below: waterfall, incremental, and spiral. Now, software development approach or technique, that which task we have to perform and how we will perform to reach our specific goal of making any project, any system software, any software. Just we can do a software development or software updation. What things mainly we need? There are three type of approaches. We can approach these three techniques according to our requirements. Now the first one is waterfall. As you can see, first you will see in the diagram. Now, what do you think? What does you can remind of waterfall? That it is a flow in one direction. It can't be simultaneously in the both directions, right? Waterfall is in one direction or both directions? Yes. So what does it mean? That it is difficult when we pass our one level, it is difficult to return to that level. So we have to work with very present mind. Development activities are performed in order with possibly minor overlap. And what does it mean with possibly minor overlap? That we can't overlap one whole step. That if we are doing the coding, we can't return to the design part. This is the condition of waterfall approach. That it is bit difficult. We can change in the design part again and again, again and again. But once we have finalized the design part, and we have done we are in the coding part, we cannot go back to the design part to change it unless until we have to do a new project and we have to start again. Okay, but with little or no iteration between activities. There can be a little iteration, but no more between activities. Means to the different parts. Needs are determined, requirements are defined, and the full system is designed, built, and tested for ultimate delivery at one point in time. Now, what does that mean? That user should be determined. He should be determined and confident about his needs, that what he's doing, what he wants in the next step, and what he's doing right now. He should be assured of that one step before following to another step. Okay, a document driven approach best suited for highly precedent system with stable requirements. The requirements should be stable. It is not that if you are doing a coding part, then you think, no, this coding is a bit difficult. What if we change the design and then we code according to that? No, that can't be happen. Your requirements, your mind should be stable, and everything should be documented and arranged in a matter that is confirmed. What you will do, what design is confirmed, now we will do according to that design. First you will document that. You will make a design on a page, then you will do the coding on a page according to that design. When you will pass this all process, then you will start working on any software. Implement, you can then implement, and there is the testing and maintenance, which is always in the end. Waterfall model is often also referred to as the linear and sequential model. For the flow of activities in this model are rather linear and sequential, as the name suggests. In this model, the software development activities move to the next phase only after the activities in the current phase are over. I have explained it now. However, like is the case with a waterfall, one cannot return to the previous stage. Now, they have used the word of linear and sequential model. What is linear form? From up to down. You will take that this has done, this we have done, this we have done, and you will come in the low at the down part where you will finalize your project. As is sequential model, that you will work in a fully sequence mode. You can't mix it up, you can't iterate, you can't go back. You should specify your sequence and you should be really assured of that sequence and confident about that sequence. The flow of activity should be kept in mind and documented like that and worked like that. Waterfall approach is confirmed. Should I proceed to the next one?
Yes, ma'am, it's good. Clear.
The next is incremental approach. Now, what is incremental approach? Incremental means to add something, to increment in something. Now, what does that mean? Determines user need and defines the overall architecture, but then delivers the system in a series of increments. The first build incorporates a part of the total plan capabilities. The next build adds more capabilities and so on until the entire system is complete. Now, first you will plan, design, research and program. Okay, you will complete this part. Then you will show it to the customer or you will see the requirements of the customer. If something is left, again you will plan on the same platform. I'm not asking you will build you will start from the new one. No, on the same. Again you will plan, then you will come to design, and then you will see that what design should be added or deleted. Then you will increment in that. You will modify that part. If you have modified the design part, obviously you will have to increment in research part also, and then the programming part. Then you will see that are you reaching your goal or not. If still you are not reaching your goal, you will again do the same process. Again you will plan that what changes I have to make, what changes I will make in the design, but I have to research more, and how I will do the programming. And that is not only three steps. You can see that is first increment, second increment, and nth increment. Means it will continue until unless you reach your desired goal. That is incremental approach. That you can change the previous part also, but you have to start it from the start. Again you will plan. You will not directly go to, if you are doing programming, you can't directly go to the design part. No, you have to go to the planning part. You will first plan what will you do next, then you will change in that. Then there is spiral approach. What is spiral? What does spiral means? Can anyone tell? Have you seen the spring that is in spiral form? That means spiral. That rotates itself and then comes to an end. A risk-driven control prototyping approach that develops prototypes early in the development process to specifically address risk areas, followed by an assessment of prototyping result and further determination of risk areas to prototype. It is a risk-driven control prototype that you can control the risk using this prototype approach, because it is spiral. It is a circular. You can say, you will not specify the name spiral. In a circular, you can again and again come to that point, and you can change it at any point. It's not must that you will start from the very start. No, you can start from wherever you feel like. So it can lower the risk of system failure or a software failure. Areas that are prototyped frequently include user requirements and algorithm performances. Prototyping continues until high-risk areas are resolved and mitigated to an acceptable level. Now, prototyping continues on obviously it will continue on the higher risk where we have more risk of error or a system failure. We will work on that and we will resolve that again and again until we have reached our acceptable level, to a level where we can accept that software that now it has been stable. Now can move to the next part. During each iteration or loop, the system is explored at greater depth and more detail is added. Now, during each iteration or loop, the system is explored at greater depth. Now, when you will just get an overlook, you will see, no, okay, that is a problem. First, you will resolve that problem. Then you will be more conscious about that. But you will see even with more concentration that does I have any other error, any other problem that should be resolved. Then we will go in the more depth and detail. Appropriate for exploratory projects that are working in an unfamiliar domain or with unproven technical approaches. We will go through like the appropriate and full explanatory projects so we can avoid an unproven techniques that we aren't using some failure technique in our project that has been failed before. Are we using that? Are we using that technique that is making our software down? So we have that appropriate thinking in our mind and a clarity. The iterative nature allows for knowledge gain during early passes to inform subsequent passes, requires low upfront commitment. Now here there's the iterative nature that allows for knowledge gain. Now obviously when we know that we can go back and we can easily change anything, so that makes us more conscious that we should recheck our project continuously. That obviously will gain in our knowledge. If we having some error, we will search about that error, we will correct that error, and then we will know that this error should we make in the future. So there is more chances of more knowledge and requires low upfront commitment that we can fulfill our user requirements and we can reach our goal easily. Now this is the diagram. You can see one, if it is starting from that options, the innermost part of the circle. Options we will explore, we will see the concept, the plan life cycle, then start it. Objectives, again we will do the prototype, then analysis, requirement, plan development again, then alternatives, then prototype 2. If we want some changes from prototype 1, we can do it on prototype 2. Then again designing things, then plan integration test, then alternatives. No, that is a spiral. We can change it in any time. We can iterate it any time, and we can look after our project. And there is no limitations of that. We can't go on the previous step. We can't just focus on that part which we have to change. We don't have to go from the very start. No, we can start from anywhere. That is the ability of this spiral approach. Have you understand these approaches? Any questions, class?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Now next we have software engineering methods in system development. Now what are the methods in system development? I have explained these before, but we will now here discuss which is the best method and why should we use it. Which are the best method and how we will use it. Now, successful projects are managed well. Obviously, because of they are managed well, they are successful projects. To manage a project efficiently, the manager or development team must choose the software development methodology that will work best for the project at hand. Then you are heading somewhere, you're going somewhere, and that uh, path or that destination has 2 or 3 paths. Now, how will you choose the path? At which path is the best? Obviously, you will see that the road is good. There are some help also that if a car got damaged, there should be a mechanical help or the other shops. You will choose that unless you will not choose a path that is broken or which consumes more time. So that is with the softwares also. When you will decide that what are you going to make, then you will make a requirement list, and then you will see that which software approach or methodology will sets the best in a project. All methodologies have different strengths and weaknesses and exist for different reasons. Here's an overview of the most commonly used software development methodologies and why different methodologies exist. First is agile development methodology. I have told you about agile development methodologies before. Teams use the agile development methodology to minimize risk such as bugs, cost overruns, and changing requirements. Now, why they adapt agile development methodology? Because it minimizes the risk. What risk of bugs means errors, risk of cost that it doesn't cost that much, and the changing requirements. Changing requirements means that you can easily change requirements at any time, at any part, and there is no specific limitations. When adding new functionality, in all agile method, teams develop the software in iteration that contain mini increments of the newly functionality. So when you work on agile development, it is so defined that there is a less chances of when you go for an incremental change iterations, because in this you when you build one phase that is properly built, if there is any error you can change it at the time, and it lowers the risk of any error or iteration processes. There are many different forms of agile development method, including scrum, crystal, extreme programming, and feature driven development. These are the features of agile development software methodology, which helps you to lower the risk of errors, bugs. You don't cost that much. Agile development methods are similar to rapid application development and can be inefficient in large organization. Now, agile development don't works good in a large organization. It is for a small organization that is specific to one thing. Programmers, managers, and organizations accustomed to the waterfall method. See below, I have explained. There's also some other details about waterfall below. May have difficulty adjusting to an agile SDLC, so a hybrid approach often works well for them. Okay, when you have any one direction of your software, that your software is doing only one thing, then it is best that you should use agile development methodology. For example, there is just a case where you have to calculate your PMI, like you are if you are overweight or underweight, that is a software. So then you can use agile, because when there will be less coding, that is a specific aim that you are doing, there is just only one thing, then there will be lower of the risk of errors, that will not cost that much, that will not need a big team for you to run it. So that is a agile development. If you have any small and a specific thing, then you can use an agile. Now, how agile methodology work? First, you will plan, then you will collaborate. What is the collaboration? Collaboration, and you will work on iteration. That you will first build, and you will just recheck that it is going good or not, and then you will deliver it to customer. And then there is also a frequent feedback, daily review. Now, the best example of daily review can be anything like weather update. When you will as you open the weather update, it is a daily review that today's weather is this, today's it is a constant changing, but there is only one thing to change. There is no any other options. It just shows you the weather update, that's it. That in that case it used the agile methodology. Have you confirmed about agile methodologies, that when you will use an agile methodology? Class, I need to know that have you understood about agile methodology or not? Okay, I will just tell you by giving one example, the weather. Now, what happens when you open the weather forecast? What does it shows? It just shows the about the weather. That is a specific thing. It doesn't shows about that what's happening around you. Where is flooding, or where it is heat strokes. It doesn't tell you that. It just tells you that what is the weather forecast of today and the other days. and the weather forecast continuously changes. So that means there is a daily review that it is changing daily or hourly, that how is the weather now. For that methodology, for that type of software, agile methodology is used. Okay, now have you understood, Umar, that for what thing agile methodology is used? For what type of software? Your calculator, for example, your desktop calculator or your mobile calculator, what does it do? The calculator just calculates whatever you tell it, whatever you input. That is the work of calculator. Calculator doesn't tell you about your weight. It doesn't tell you about anything else what is happening. Calculator just tells you about the calculated amount that you have entered. That is for just this one purpose, that it calculates scientifically, it calculates non-scientifically just about the numbers, or you can enter any scientific notation in it, but it only calculates. That is for one specific purpose. So that is agile methodology. Now have you understood it? Okay, good. Now you will get to next, that is DevOps development methodology. Now what is DevOps development methodology? DevOps is not just a development methodology, but also a set of practices that supports an organizational culture. It covers the cultural, organizational culture environment in it. DevOps development centers on organizational change that enhances collaboration between the departments responsible for different segments of the development life cycle, such as development, quality assurance, and operations. Now, DevOps work as a whole package, that it helps to collaborate between the departments also. It is not just specified to one thing. It can combine two or three things also. Two or three different organizations or two or three different workings in one package. Some customers don't want continuous updates to their systems. Now, when someone owns a software, someone wants that their system should be updated on regular basis, on or monthly basis, so the users don't get bored. But some don't want, they want a stable software. That, for example, whatsapp works as a stable, but after sometimes there is some updation also. Now that is a requirement of that user, that owner, that he wants continuous updates, but some do not want it. Like Twitter don't update very frequently, but it has some functions that should be added or not. Like Facebook, it has almost same procedure like before. Some industries have regulations that require extensive testing before a project can move to the operation phase. Now, what does some industries do? They do again and again operations and testing before a project can move to the operation phase, the user phase. Like operation means when a user uses it. That industry reconfirm again and again about that project, that how it is working, is our updation is working good or not. If different departments use different environments, undetected issues can slip into productions. Now, different departments use different environments. Every department has its own environment, but according to software, it is not that much good, because it can make undetected issues that can slip into production, that can be mixed up. The codes can be, obviously, when you will cluster many things in one box, you will place your every accessories in one small box. It will be difficult to figure it out. That is like the different departments with different environments, they can't be mixed up. Then some quality attributes require human interaction, which slows down the delivery pipeline. Now some quality attributes require human interaction. Some software really wants it, how a human or a user wants that project. That is a communication thing, that if a user or a customer is not satisfied, he will again and again ask for the changes. That will slow down the delivery pipeline. The software will not be able to make up to the desired date. It should be issued because of the frequently changing. Now this is the dev oops. It means an continuous process. It is a continuous process. It is an infinity. That is a sign of infinity. And this is how it works. It is according to the customer or the owner. Now what is this? We will plan, we will code, then we will build up, then we'll test, release, then deploy. We will again check, or again we will add something, then we will operate, then we will monitor. If we want any other changes, we will again plan and we will again code. Now, in that form, this process continues changing. That is confirmed. DevOps development. Okay, good. Then we have waterfall development method. What we will do in waterfall development method, we consider the waterfall method to be the most traditional software development method. The waterfall method is a rigid linear model that consists of sequential phases: requirements, design, implementation, verification, and maintenance, focusing on distant goals. Each phase must be 100% complete before the next phase can start. There is usually no process for going back to modify the project or direction. Now, as I have told you before about the waterfall development method, that you have to complete your one phase first. You have to be 100% assured about the one phase, so you don't get back again. You don't need to be get back again on that project, on that phase. Now, first you will specify your requirements. That what are your requirements? You will watch through all the user requirements or the equipments or the working, and you will specify your requirements. Once you have specified your all the requirements, then you will go to the design part. Now, what is the best thing you should do in while doing the waterfall method? You should be taking notes. First, you will document on a page that these are your requirements and this will be your design. Then how will you implement each design button, the backend phase, and how they will work? You should know it. Or you can take a test method also, that a rough project you can make from where you can understand that how your design will work for each button if you are confused. But you will not start the final project making, final software making, without knowing that how this design will work. When you have done the implementation part, then you will go to the verification part. You will verify that either my design is according to the implementation or my implementation code is according to my design working. Am I reaching my goal? Am I doing it right? And then you will maintain that goal. Then you should go to the software project and you should start your designing according to that. If you are 100% sure that you are doing it right. Now, when you will design, make it sure that you don't make it very complicated. Okay, because if you make a very complicated design, that will be a bit difficulty in the implementation part. Then you can't go back to the design part to change it. So make your design a very simple and efficient, that it should looks good, but it should be easy also for the users to understand, for first of all yourself to understand. It will be easy for yourself to implement and to understand. It will obviously should be easy for the user to use it. Then you will do the implementation part. When you will done with the implementation part, then you will verify that has my system or my design is working according to the goal, according to my requirement of software, that how a software should work. When you will verify that and the verification is done, means it's 100% working like that, then you will maintain your software, that it should be working in that way throughout. That is waterfall development method. The next is rapid application development method. I have told you about rapid application in the previous lecture, that when you need a small project, a small software should be worked very fast, should be used in small time. When you have a small time to use any software, you want that software to be built in 1 week or 2 weeks, because you wanted to upload it. You can take an example of a website. You have an academy, for example, and that academy is not doing that great. There is no advertisement, and you want a rapid application, or you want a rapidly fastly a web page, so that you can share that web page to everyone, so everyone should know that you have an academy, you have this department. So you want a rapid answer, you want a rapid response. For that, there is a rapid application development. Rapid application development is a condensed development process that produces a highly quality system with a low investment cost. CEO and president of Technologies, this RAD process allows our developers to quickly adjust to shifting requirements in fast-paced and constantly changing market. The ability to quickly adjust is what allows such a low investment cost. Now, that is the ability. If you yourself know about a web page, how to build a web page or how to build a website, that will be almost a free of cost thing. That you won't need to hire anyone to make a website for you. You don't have to tell the requirements or again and again be understandable with that person, because you self know how to make it. That is investment cost. That is very low investment or no investment cost. The rapid application development method contains four phases. Now, what are that four phases? Requirement planning, then user design, then construction, and cutover. What is mean about cutover? Cutover means that now it is done. Now just launch it like a product. When you finalize a product, you just cut over, you just launch it, and then you can't do anything about it. Once you launch it, once you have launched any of your website and it has been seen by many people or have saved with many people, no, you can't do anything unless until you delete that. But some people have seen that, so that is mean of the cutover, that it has been launched. The user design and construction phase repeat until the user confirms that a product meets all the requirements. Now here, first you will make your requirements. You should know the first part, that requirement is not for iteration. You can't change the requirement. What you can change is the user design and the construction, the implementation part. You can change the design, then you will change implement it, then you will can change the design, but you can't go to the requirement part because the requirements are fixed. Now you will change your design and implementation according to your design and construction. Okay, then just this part will iterate, and then there's a cutover, and cutover doesn't need any iteration. That is rapid application development. Understood? Okay. Now, which software development methodologies should I use? These four software development methodologies are the most pervasive in software development. Each one has its own strengths and weaknesses and works efficiently in different situations. When choosing your development methodology, think about combining the elements of each method that works best for your team and your current project. In this way, you can create a hybrid development methodology that gets you to the production securely and efficiently. Now, it means that you should specify all your requirements, that what you want. Once you have confident about the specifications, that what you want, then you will see about the all methodologies. You will go through with all methodologies that what you need to do. You will see your all requirements of the software, that does this software needs an iteration again and again. Then you will use a DevOps. Does it is the as simple that we can use a waterfall, that we don't be every part has been clear to us and we can do it in the Spark. So will you will use the waterfall if you know 100% sure that there is no need of completing one phase and going to other phase, and you will not be returning to the previous phase when you are 100% sure about that. And if the time limit of that software is short, what will you do? You will use a rapid one. And when you have only one task to do, what will you do? You will choose agile. These all things should be kept in mind while you are doing your software, making your software, that which methodology you are going to choose and why. Why is the main focus? Why are you choosing that? On what basis, on what points you are using that, you are approving that methodology for your software. That is really important. And last part is data validation and verification. Now, what does data validation means? Who will know what is data validation? What does come into your mind when it comes to validation? Because it is a normal using word, validation. You have used in or like valid customer or valid user. What does that mean? Data validation is the process of determining whether a particular piece of information falls within the acceptable range of values for a given field or not. Data validation would perform a check against existing values in the database to ensure that they fall within valid parameters. What does valid mean? If you see about any account, you entered a wrong user email ID or incorrect password. If you entered a email that doesn't exist or that isn't signed into that, saved in that software, it will show you an invalid email address. Yeah, invalid. If you are entering, if there is some page and you have to enter your age in it, but you enter your name except of your age. So what does that text box means that you should add some number, but you are entering the alphabets. That is invalid. That is not acceptable. The thing that is not acceptable in a certain field or in a certain place, that is validation or invalidation. But if it is correct, you have entered the correct information, that is a data validation, that it is correct, it is valid, you can go further. That is validation means. For instance, in some cases you might need to set limits around possible numeric values for a given field, albeit with a bit less precision than in the previous example. If you are recording a person's height, you might want to prohibit values that fall outside the expected range. If a person is listed in your database as being 12 feet tall, about 3 meters, then you can probably assume the data is incorrect. Likewise, you would not want to allow negative numbers for that field. What does that mean? That how can a person be 12 feet tall? Is that possible? No. So, if someone is entering a wrong height also, that will be an invalid answer. That will be not acceptable. But if you entered like 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall, that is acceptable because that is the height. But if someone is entering a 12 feet tall height, so that is not acceptable. There's very rare cases where this is, if someone is like that, but normally it is not acceptable. So that is not valid answer. Fortunately, these kind of validation checks are typically performed at the application level or the database level. For example, if you are entering a US-based shipping address into an e-commerce website, it is unlikely that you would be able to enter a state code that is invalid for United States. If you are entering a US-based shipping address into e-commerce website, but you are not entering the state code, how would they know that it is the shipping address of US? You have to first enter the code, the state code, that where there is shipping address, and then the website will be accepting that, because then they will only know that okay, this is a US based shipping address. And what does verification means? Verification means to recheck, to verify that either is correct or not. Now validation has no this or that thing. Validation is means it is valid or not valid. Either it is yes or either it is no. But data verification means it is true or false. It is a question type. It can go on both ways. It can be true, it can be false. Data verification, on the other hand, is actually quite different from data validation. Verification performs a check on the current data to ensure that it is accurate, consistent, and reflects its intended purpose. Verification may also happen at any time. In other words, verification may take place as part of recurring data quality process, whereas validation typically occurs when a record is initially created or updated. It is important to verify the information in the destination system matches the information from the source system. This can be done by sampling data from both the source and destination system to manually verify accuracy, or it can involve automated process that perform full verification of the imported data, matching all of the records and flagging exceptions. Now I will give you the example of data verification. When you order something from any website, and if you are using that website for the first time, you have entered the email address. What will it do? It will first verify that is this your email address. It will send a code to your personal email inbox to verify that either you have entered the correct email or not. It is up to you, because if you verify it that yes, this is me, it will go further. But if you will not verify that account, then the system will understand it like you have entered any wrong email address, any other's email address that is not yours, so it will not proceed. It has both ways, and it depends on the user and the customer also, the owner and the customer, if it is true or false, but it is confirmed from one side. For example, if you write your name, you will verify it, either I have written my name or not. If you write your phone number, it will send a code to your phone number. Is this your phone number? Should we verify it? That is called verification. So verification and validation are two very different sides, but they are important in every software making projects. If you build any software, if you are building any application, any software application, so the verification and validation both are very important for checking out that either you are doing good or not. Is your software valid? Will your software work or not? And the verification means, okay, it is working. That if you run it, then you will verify, okay, yeah, it is working like according to me, according to my goal, according to my requirements. That is verification. Validation is that, yeah, it is working. That is valid for user. Have you understood about validation and verification?